Hey everyone, welcome to tonight's live stream. This is definitely gonna be a bit of a chill one. I got my tea going on here. Hey VAP, good to see you in the house. Yeah, so just here to chill. It's so funny as the day was going by, because it's now almost 10 o'clock at night where I'm at. I was like going through my head. There were just so many different ideas, right? Like trying to come up with a topic. And I have a feeling because I was in that state of trying, nothing really came. Well, lots of ideas came, but it was just like something would come up and then like, I don't know. And then I move on to another idea would come. But I definitely felt I was in this level of just effort. And yeah, and so there's definitely something to be said about that, right? When you're in that energy of just trying effort, it's like trying to make yourself go to sleep. Like, have you ever tried to make yourself go to sleep? If like you're in bed, you know you're tired, but you're like, I need to go to sleep, and then that doesn't help, right? Because then your brain's just going, and you're like, I gotta fall asleep, and you're trying to fall asleep. Like it doesn't work. You're just up longer. Like the only way to actually fall asleep is to honestly do nothing and sleep magically happens. And so yeah, so I just that's honestly where my thoughts are right now. Is I just wanted to obviously keep my commitment that I've made to myself to be on this live stream. And so it's just been interesting as I've been doing this over these past couple weeks to see the different way my energy has been. I started this very lighthearted and just like I said at the start of this was just to put myself in front of a camera, challenge myself to actually be visible, since that is a fear of mine. And so I am doing it. I am here. All right, well, let's see who else we got here in the chat. Astrid Crescent, man. Hey Astrid Crescent. hello. And then let's see, Script Water, do you still use Ormus? Yes, and I'm planning to do an update video with Ormus, so I guess I won't get too deep with that here, because I've been just kind of writing out some different notes, and so I'm wanting to have that actually be like a more detailed video. But yes, I do still use it for here and there. I will say I don't take it as regularly as I did in the past, and I'll get into why that is when I do make the detailed video. But I still enjoy it. I still like it. Like as far as you know, the reasons why I take it is it really helps with getting into the alpha level of mind, and which, if you're familiar with brainwaves, you know, the alpha level is very powerful when it comes to, you know, problem solving and being creative and things of that nature. So yeah, but I definitely plan to do an update video. It's coming soon. All right. Hey Shashat Renee, good to see you here. Everyone popping in the chat. Yeah, so I guess let me think of a good topic. So today, I'll just talk about my day. I was doing some inner work, because something that I have really been working on lately is, as I'm working through my different fears, anxiety, phobias, is really trying to dig down into the inner child, right? Because they say most of our personality is created within the first 7 years of our life. And I guess as I was just talking about brainwaves, the first 7 years of our life, our brainwaves is in a state and such that we're absorbing everything around us. So that means we're taking on our parents' fears, family members' fears, and also good things too. But just everything, we're just like an open sponge during that time frame of our life. And then so also any type of trauma, abuse, emotional abuse, anything that happens in that time can really, really scar us, you know, as we continue to develop within our lifetime. So as I've been doing my work to be more mindful and really trying to see myself objectively and to see where my different fears are, and to do that work going within, I've definitely found it very powerful. So if you're not familiar with inner child work, I highly recommend looking into, I'm trying to think who I could recommend as far as books. There's just so many. I mean, I've already mentioned, I believe in like, which video did I talk about? Like, so I think the self-love video, as far as working with Louise Hay. She has some good work as well, working with the inner child. But so yeah, so today one of the exercises that I did with the inner child is I went back and I thought back to my past, and the exercise that I was doing, where it was basically, I was instructed to think back to, let's say, my primary caregiver and what it was that I wanted to hear from them. You know, and whether that was something that they either did or didn't say, something that I felt I needed to hear at that young age that I didn't hear. And so thinking back to that, one of the things that I was thinking about was, especially with my relationship with my mother, was just hearing, I did this visualization and I was able to go back to that time and see, you know, what was it that I wanted to hear. And then I went back to my inner child and went there and visit her myself, and then, you know, put my hand on her heart and told those things to her myself. So in a way, mothering myself. So that's one of the things I've really been working with here lately, is self-parenting. There's like a lot to go with that, because as we, you know, obviously our parents growing up did the best they could with what they had, right? The knowledge and awareness that they had, that they got from, you know, their parents, and so on and so forth through the generations. So I do understand, you know, why, let's say, the certain negative things that did happen in my life, why they happened. And it wasn't from malicious intent. It was just, you know, they just did not know any better. It was where they were. So now as an adult, I know that it is my duty, or, you know, it is up to me now to really go within and to give those things to myself that I didn't receive at a younger age. And what I'm noticing as I'm doing this work, and I think I totally got off track, because so as I'm doing this work, I'm seeing a lot of healing. And so the exercise that I was doing today, I was telling myself the things, yeah, I think I said that. I was telling myself the things that I wish I would have heard. So one of them being, I see you. And I just remember, as I was telling that to my inner child, just the amount of tears, like that was definitely a lot of crying that was happening today. But as I think back of just how powerful that was to me, as being seen, because as I think back to my childhood, that was something that I don't feel I had in a lot of ways. And it's interesting too, even if I think back later, even in my teen years, I remember like joking that my superpower was invisibility. Like I could be in a room and no one would know I was there. Like I even remember one time in high school, a teacher marked me absent even though I was right there in the room. Like it was that bad. But yeah, and that's just all through childhood. I have so many memories of just like aunts and uncles and just being shocked that they'll see me in the room like, were you there the whole time? I was like, yeah, just here. But that was just always a thing of, yeah, I was just always just too scared to speak and to be seen. And as I'm trying to, so a lot of the work that I'm doing now is trying to figure out, you know, why was that? Why was I afraid to speak? Like, because obviously it had to come from a cause somewhere, because, you know, we're all born beautiful, innocent babies, totally loving. You know, a baby has no problem expressing itself, right? Like a baby, you know, when everyone knows in the whole neighborhood if the baby's happy or if the baby's not happy. Like the baby, you know, it's babies express themselves freely and fully with tears and vocals and all of that. So as I'm thinking back, so it's like now I'm like doing the work to figure out like, okay, what was it, you know, that stopped me from feeling safe to express myself. And unfortunately, I don't have a lot of memories of my childhood, but that still hasn't stopped me from doing this work and doing just different meditations, like I said, of going back and visualizing myself in my childhood, and doing healing, being there for myself, comforting myself. And it is interesting what comes up as I do these different meditations and exercises. So as I've been contemplating on, what it was that stopped me from being safe to speak up or to be seen, is I have a random memory of when I was a child. It was with the family, like we're outside. I think it was like 4th of July, because I remember where we were like at the waterfront on like a picnic blanket, getting ready for the fireworks or whatnot. And I don't know exactly what I was saying, but I do remember at one point my mom told me, basically, shut up or I'm going to backhand you. And then me being a kid, I had no clue what this word meant. Like, what is a backhand? And so I asked, I was like, what is that? And so instead of her explaining, she just proceeded to just pop me in the mouth. And so as I think back to that, like as a child, like I'm sure there were plenty other instances of similar that caused me to think like, okay, it is not safe to speak. And it is sad as I think back to, let's say, even that particular example, that if I were to go back and to be there for myself, I think it would have been so much more effective from a parenting standpoint if my mother would have just explained to me what it was, if I was saying something I shouldn't have been, like explain to me why I shouldn't say it. Like instead, I just got hit. And then I also think of other memories, like another thing growing up, I used to always get told that I had a smart mouth, and I guess I was a smart aleck. But then I used to hate that because like my thing is, obviously as a kid, again, kid thinking, like smart means, to my mind as a kid, was intelligent. So it's like, why are you telling me I have a smart mouth? But I thought smart was a good thing, but you're saying this as if it's a bad thing. But then yet again, thinking back, like it just would have been nice for someone to just explain to me, like, oh, when you say this, I receive it as disrespect or whatever the situation may have been. But thinking back, no one ever did that. No one ever actually took the time to explain and to actually guide and correct. It was just that, unfortunately, at that time, everyone's way of dealing with things would just be to, reprimand, right? Or to hit or punish. And then I do understand, right? Like I said, that comes through the line. Like they felt that was the right way to discipline or correct because that was how their parents disciplined, and then their parents and their parents, and all the way back through, the caveman days. But it is interesting as I'm doing this work and just healing myself and seeing the effects in my life now, right? Because obviously, in general, there's no way to really go back in the past, as far as we know. But then, they also say time is an illusion, so maybe we can. So that's, I guess, something I've been playing around with. I don't know if anyone here is familiar with, like the work of Neville Goddard. And so I know he has like a technique that he advocates where basically you rewrite something that happened. So let's say if a situation happened that you didn't like, you just go back in your mind and then you replay the situation the way you wished it would have gone. And I remember one time him in one of his lectures, he shared a story of I think it was a guy who had like back problems because of a time he fell when he was a kid from a swing. And as this guy went back to his childhood and replayed that situation where he fell off the swing as a kid, he was able to actually heal his back problem. And so it is interesting, just the power of the mind and what can be healed by rewriting history in the mind. Because really, all those thoughts, right, and memories all exist in the mind. So who's to say, and also, I guess we already know memories are not accurate. They're generalizations, and they're very vague, and not precise. So it makes sense, why not? Let's just go back to all the stuff that didn't go so well, and let's just rewrite it. Like, let's just do something new, and make it a better picture. And so yeah, so that's something I've been playing around with, and starting to see how that affects how I show up now in the world. So I guess if you haven't done that, that's something to play around with. So I highly recommend, doing inner child work is very, very powerful. Self-parenting, learning to really love yourself, your inner child, and yeah, just being there for yourself. There's so much to be said for really being present and allowing yourself to be there for yourself, because you are always there with yourself, right? Like, you think, like, so many people in our lives, come and go, but no matter what, you're with you. And so there's so much power that comes when you really just trust and to just take that time for yourself and really feel who you are, and to know that you love yourself and that you are there for yourself. Like, that's something I've really been doing to myself. Just like I mentioned in a previous stream, of doing mirror work and really looking to my eyes, telling myself that I love you, and then also just telling myself, I got you, it's good, everything's gonna be okay, and having that just that level of peace it's good stuff. Let's see, we got in the chat. Let's see, Shashat Renee. I've been doing quite a bit of inner work myself. I've done a visualization as well. September, I'll be delving into why I'm conflict avoidant. Yeah, September is a good month. Self-love September. Oh, there's a YouTuber I highly recommend. I'll probably link her channel in the what do you call that thing? The description. Yeah, her name is Kelly Maddox, but she has Self-Love September, and there's just so much to go into as far as different exercises and practices and different things to really love, to do the work and love oneself and have some fun with it, all right, well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. This feels nice, and I like that we have the chat going on. It feels good to not be alone, especially during these times. I'm still choosing, I guess, to not really do a lot of public things. So I'm definitely feeling it, I guess, at this point, because the last big social soiree that I attended was in March, the beginning of March, and the year's almost over, so it's crazy. But yeah, I appreciate so much all the love and the comments everyone's been leaving. Of course, if you can, give this video a thumbs up, just because that feels nice. Social signals. But yeah, I will be back on tomorrow, hopefully with a better planned stream, definitely. But I definitely wanted to come on tonight, just chill, kind of share some thoughts that I was having, and yeah, I will now go ahead and wrap this up. So yes, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I will see you tomorrow. Have a good one.